Hello and hi students, welcome to another session of All Force e-learning program, right? So today we shall calculate the force, the electric field due to multiple charges. Today's topic is electric field due to multiple charges. In the previous episode, let's have a preview of what we have learned in the earlier classes. Just have a review of all. So I was telling you, charge is the intrinsic property of fundamental particles called electrons and protons, right? Charge is conserved, charge is quantized, the major properties of charge. Then electrification, the method of charging a body, the method of giving charge to a body, that is electrification. Three methods: charging by friction, charging by induction, charging by conduction. Later, Coulomb's law, like charges repel, unlike charges attract. Actually, charge was noticed by the force that is applied by one on the other. So there is repulsion and attraction force. For this, the analytical approach for this was given by Charles Coulomb, right? Coulomb's law, F is equal to F directly proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. Force F is equal to 1 by 4 epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. That is Coulomb's law. So F force later. Force due to multiple charges. When there are many charges, the principle of superposition, application of the principle of superposition with Coulomb's law, you get the force acting on a charge due to multiple charges. Later we studied electric field. Any charge shows its interaction to the other charge, right? By a field. A charge will produce a field around itself. So it interacts with those charges which are within the field there, right? So the field that is produced by the charge, the space around the charge where the effect of the charge is felt, experienced, that is electric field, the concept of electric field, right? And the definition for electric field intensity, it is the force experienced by a unit positive test charge placed at a point in the field, right? That is the electric field intensity. Later, the electric lines of force. Now how does the charge interact with this? So it exhibits, it produces lines of force. The imaginary lines around the charge where the unit positive test charge would tend to move. Now that path, the curve, they are electric lines of force. We have dealt with the properties of electric lines of force even. And next, the electric field due to a point charge. Force experienced by a unit positive test charge. By this definition, we have evaluated the electric field due to a point charge. So the electric field due to a point charge Q at a distance d, 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q by d square. Now today, let us learn what would be the formula for the electric field due to multiple charges. If there are many charges, then how do you calculate the electric field due to many charges at a point? Let there be a point P. We have to calculate the formula. We have to derive the formula for the electric field at a point P, around which there are multiple charges. Let's say here a charge Q1. There is another charge Q2 here, and another charge Q3. Something like this. There are n charges in the vicinity of the point P. Now, due to the n charges that are present in the vicinity, the total net electric field at the point P, what would be the net electric field at this point P? That we have to derive there. Now, first, in the previous episode we have found the electric field due to an isolated point charge, only a single point charge, isolated point charge. Field due to that is evaluated as E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by d square. So considering these charges individually, right? First consider this charge to be isolated. Let's suppose there are no charges around. Had only this charge been existing, then the electric field due to that charge Q1, only Q1 at P. So charge Q1, positive charge, field due to charge Q1 at P. So this is E1 bar. E1. So we have even dealt. For a positive charge, the direction of field is away from the charge. For negative, it is towards the charge. Because for a positive charge, the lines of force are directed away. They start from the charge, tend to infinity, away. For negative charge, they move towards. So let's consider this Q1 is positive. So the direction of the electric field away, E1, like this. Now, so considering the charge E1 as an isolated positive charge, isolated point charge, then the field due to E1 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by, let the distance be R1. So it is R1 square. This is the magnitude, and if I consider the direction, it is R1 cap. R1 cap. Unit vector in the direction of R1. Similarly, now forget Q1, take Q2. Consider Q2 as an isolated point charge. If Q2 is considered as an isolated point charge, individually you have to consider. So the field due to this isolated point charge E2, considering Q2 alone, right, only Q2 alone, field due to Q2 at this point, the common point P, where you have to find the electric field. The field due to this is E2 bar. This is E2 bar, and let the distance is R2. This is R2 bar, this is R1 bar. So the field due to Q2 at point P is E2. So according to the definition of E, so E2 bar is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 by R2 square. This is the magnitude, and the direction is R2 cap. E2 field due to second charge. Similarly, the third charge Q3, this is Q3, positive lead positive charge. This is the radius vector, this is R3, this is R3 bar, and the direction is E3, the direction and the electric field is E3. So field due to E3 bar, E3 third charge. So the electric field E3 bar is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q3 by R3 square, now R3 cap, so on and so forth. This way, individually considering each charge as an isolated positive charge, find the electric field due to each charge separately, and in vector form like this. And similarly, the electric field due to the nth charge, this nth charge, the field is like this, En bar, this is Rn bar. So En bar is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Qn by Rn square, the magnitude, times Rn cap, the unit vector in the direction of this thing. So vectorially all the electric fields we have find. We have find the electric field intensity vectors individually, considering the charges as isolated point charges separately. Now we have to find the net electric field at this point. In the earlier class I have explained, according to the principle of superposition. The principle says, when at any point, suppose if there are multiple vectors being acted at that point, then according to the principle of superposition, the resultant vector is the vector sum. The resultant quantity, physical quantity, is the vector sum of all the individual things, individual quantities taken at a time simultaneously. Taking all the things simultaneously, the vector sum of all will be the resultant this thing. Same thing we have applied for even electric force, Coulomb's law, Coulomb force. So according to the principle of superposition, now, so the electric field at this point, the net electric field, the resultant electric field at that point is the vector sum of all the electric fields acting at that point, taking all of them simultaneously. The vector sum of all the individual electric field intensities, taking all of them simultaneously. So therefore, E resultant, the resultant electric field E, it is E1 bar plus E2 bar plus E3 bar dot, it is En bar. So the resultant electric field at a point, at this point, is the resultant field intensity at the point is the vector sum of all the individual electric fields, considering all the fields simultaneously, considering all the fields simultaneously, right? Resultant electric field is equal to E1 bar plus E2 bar plus E3 bar dot, En bar, the resultant field vectors. So E1 bar, E2 bar, like this. So now substituting the things, we get the resultant electric field ER bar is equal to, first E1 bar. So the E1 bar is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by R1 square times R1 cap, right? E1 bar. Then plus second one is E2 bar. It's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 by R2 square it is R2 cap plus E3 bar 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q3 by R3 square into R3 cap dot the nth one 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Qn by Rn square times Rn cap. So the resultant electric field strength is the vector sum of all the individual electric field strengths taking all the fields simultaneously at this point. So this I can simplify as resultant electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught times, taking 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught common like this. So it's Q1 by R1 square times R1 cap plus Q2 by R2 square times R2 cap plus Q3 by R3 square times R3 cap dot Qn by Rn square times Rn cap. So this is the resultant electric field due to the multiple charges. So if there are n charges present in a certain space, the net electric field at a point due to all the n charges, the net electric field, you can find this by the principle of superposition. According to the principle of superposition, the resultant electric field strength at any point is the vector sum of all the individual electric fields. It is the vector sum of all the individual electric fields considering them simultaneously at a time there. So let the charges are like this, n charges. I am asked to find the resultant electric field at point P. So first to find, considering each charge as an isolated point charge, isolated point charge, find the electric field due to each charge separately. First E1, considering Q1 as an isolated charge, 1 by 4 is not Q1 by R1 square, it's R1 cap, it's vector direction. Similarly the second charge, third, n, find them individually, separately, considering each as an isolated point charge. Then, according to the principle of superposition, the resultant electric field intensity at a point is the vector sum of all the electric field intensities acting at that point, considering them simultaneously. So E resultant is E1 bar plus E2 bar plus E3 bar dot En bar. So substituting the things, E resultant is 1 by 4 epsilon Q1 by R1 square R1 cap, second one Q2 by R2 square R2 cap dot. Now taking 1 by 4 epsilon common, it's Q1 by R1 square R1 cap, Q2 by R2 square R2 cap dot. So this is the resultant electric field due to the n multiple charges, right, due to the at a single point, resultant electric intensity at a point due to n multiple charges, right, placed in the vicinity of the point there, right, applying principle of superposition. This way it is, okay, right. Next, let's take an example based on this. Consider two charges Q1 and Q2. Two charges Q1 and Q2, right, separated by distance d. Let they be separated by distance d like this. Let Q1 be at point A and Q2 be at point B, right. The distance between them is small. Now we are asked to find the resultant electric field due to these two charges at the midpoint between them, right. He is asked you to find the resultant electric field strength at the midpoint P here due to these two charges. So applying the thing what we have learned just now. So electric field due to any number of charges, multiple charges. First what you have to do is, first step, find the electric field due to each point charge separately, considering it as an isolated point charge. Find the electric field due to each point charge, its magnitude and direction. Separately find all the things. Then second step, add them vectorially. According to the principle of superposition, the resultant electric field is the vector sum of all the individual electric fields. First make out how many charges are there, two charges. So you have to find the electric field due to two charges separately, magnitude and direction. Then add vectorially. Now, so consider charge Q1. Considering charge Q1, I am asked to find the electric field at this point. You know, electric field at a point is the force experienced by a unit positive charge. So let's imagine in a unit positive charge a 1 coulomb positive charge here. Unit 1 coulomb positive charge plus, right? So positive I am imagining. Now electric field due to this at this point. So since this being a midpoint, the distance will be d by 2 and d by 2. Midpoint, so it is d by 2, d by 2. Now the electric field due to the first charge, positive charge, E1. Now this is positive, so at this point the direction, right? Positive charge, line of force is away. So due to this charge at this point, the electric field vector will be in this direction. Magnitude E1, it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It's Q1 by the distance is d by 2 whole square. Right? So therefore simplifying this, I get 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 by d square by 4. It's d square by 4. 4 goes up, so it is into 4. This is into 4. So simplifying this directly, I am writing it as q1 into 4 by d square. Similarly, find the electric field due to the second charge q2. Right? Now consider this as an individual isolated positive charge. Then field due to this at this point. Field due to this. Since this again is a positive charge, I am imagining a unit positive charge. This positive charge is repelled by this positive charge. Electric field intensity is the force experienced. The direction of the field will be in the direction of the force. So the positive charge is repelled. So the direction is like this. It is E2 bar. Right? Separate. So E2, it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. It's Q2 by d by 2 whole square again. Midpoint, so it is d by 2 whole square. So whatever is the distance, you have to substitute, take that distance here. Since it is midpoint, it is d by 2. So 1 by 4 epsilon naught q2 by, this is again d by 2 whole square, you will get d square by 4. Now I am taking 4 up, so it's first step, considering each charge as an individual point charge, find the electric field due to each charge separately. So it's E1 and E2. Second step, apply principle of superposition. According to the principle of superposition, we know the resultant electric field is the vector sum of the individual electric fields, E1 bar plus E2 bar there. So the resultant electric field E resultant is, now looking at the directions, these two are in opposite direction. We know according to the Parallelogram law of vectors, if two vectors A bar B bar at an angle theta, two vectors like this at an angle theta, then the resultant is root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. If both are in same direction, same like vectors, direction is same, then the resultant is a plus b. The magnitude of the resultant is sum of their magnitudes. If vectors are in opposite direction, angle is 180, cos 180 minus the magnitude of the resultant is the subtraction a minus b. So now these two are in opposite direction, the angle is 180 degrees. So therefore the magnitude of the resultant vector is, resultant field is E1 minus E2 according to parallel law of vectors there. So therefore the resultant electric field intensity ER is equal to E1, we have got E1 as 1 by 4, it's not 4q1 by d square. So it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 4q1 by d square minus, direction is opposite. So the field due to second one, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 4q2 by d square, like this. So the resultant electric field magnitude we are finding. From this, take the common things out. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is common. 4 by d square also common. It's q1 minus q2. So q1 minus q2. So the magnitude of the resultant electric field at the midpoint of the two charges q1 and q2, it's 1 by 4 epsilon naught 4 by d square, magnitude of q1 minus magnitude of q2. This is the magnitude of the resultant field. What would be the direction? Direction of the electric field in this case, in this individual case, according to Parallelogram law of vectors, if two vectors are in same direction like vectors, the resultant will have the direction in the direction of these three. The resultant will be in the direction of these two only. So all the three will be like vectors, parallel vectors. But when they are in opposite direction, Now when two vectors are in opposite direction, then the resultant vector will be in the direction of the vector of bigger magnitude, more magnitude, dominant vector. So out of these two, whichever vector is dominant, the resultant will be in the direction of the dominant vector, bigger, more magnitude. So now the resultant of these both now depends upon the individual magnitudes of E1 and E2. Out of these two, which is of more magnitude, the resultant will be in that direction. Suppose if Q1 is greater than Q2, so Q1 is more, then the field due to Q1 will be more. Distance is same. If Q1 is more, field due to E1 is more. Q2 less, field is less. So E1 is bigger than E2, so the dominant is E1. The resultant electric field will be in the direction of E1. If not, if Q2 is dominant, Q2 is big enough, Q2 is more, then we'll get minus. The direction is opposite. So if Q2 is more, then the field due to Q2 is dominant, bigger, more in magnitude. So this is more magnitude, this is less magnitude. So the net field will be in the directions. So the magnitude of the resultant electric field is like this, and the direction of the electric field will be in the direction of the dominant vector, dominant field, or out of these two, whichever charge is big enough, whichever charge is more, the field will be in the direction of that. Okay, thank you. Taken another example. Now the same thing what we have taken earlier. Now I have considered two charges Q1 and Q2 separated by a distance d. Two charges Q1, Q2 separated by a distance d like this. Now initially we have taken that two charges are like charges. Let's do the same thing if they are unlike charges. Q1 is positive, Q2 is negative. Q1 positive, Q2 negative. Two different unlike charges, different in magnitude, separated by distance d. Then what would be the resultant electric field at the midpoint P? Since this is midpoint, the distance is d by 2 here, half d by 2 each. So the resultant electric field at the midpoint P is asked you to find. Let's evaluate. So first step I was telling you, whenever you are asked to find the electric field due to multiple charges, first step, consider each charge as a isolated point charge. Find the electric field due to each point charge, considering it as an isolated charge respectively, like E1, first charge E1, second charge E2, third charge E3. Find all the individual electric field intensities separately, considering it as an isolated charge. First step. Second step, now apply principle of superposition. So the resultant electric field strength is the vector sum of all the individual electric field intensities, considering all of them simultaneously. So first step, let me find the electric field due to each charge individually. First charge Q1, charge is Q1, the point of concentration is P. Here I am asked to find the electric field. According to the definition of electric field intensity is the force experienced by a unit positive charge. So let me imagine a unit positive charge, positive 1 coulomb positive charge here. Then field due to this Q1 at this point, E1, this is E1. Now the direction of the field, since this is positive charge, unit positive test charge will be repelled by this charge. So force experienced by this will be repelling force, it will be repelled. So the field due to this charge will be E1 bar like this. So it is in the direction away from the charge. So magnitude of E1, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, it's Q1 by, since it is midpoint, distance d by 2 whole square. So simplifying, it's 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by, it's d square by 4. D square by 4, I am taking 4 from denominator to numerator. So E2, second, field due to second charge. First charge, considering it separately, E1, I have found the magnitude. The direction, since it is positive charge, the direction of line of force will be away from it. So unit positive test charge will experience repulsive force. So the field is away. Now forget that. Now come to the second charge, Q2. Now considering this as an isolated point charge, let me find the resultant electric field due to this one. Field due to the second charge, E2. Charge magnitude is Q2, again the distance is d by 2. So the magnitude of the field, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 by d by 2 whole square. simplifying 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q2 by d square by 4. It's d square by 4. These are the magnitudes of the electric fields. Now consider the direction. Now this is negative charge. According to the definition of electric field intensity, it is the force experienced by unit positive test charge. So it is, I have imagined a unit positive test charge here. Now this positive test charge is attracted by this negative charge. Q2 is negative. So positive test charge will be attracted by this. So the direction of force on this unit positive test charge will be this way. Electric field intensity will be in the direction of the force experienced by the test charge. So the force is like this. So the electric field intensity is also in this direction only, E2. So E2 is also in this direction. Magnitudes, direction, first step. Second step. Now according to the principle of superposition, we know the resultant electric field is the vector sum of the individual electric fields, E1 bar plus E2 bar. So therefore the resultant electric field E2, magnitude of the E resultant, according to the parallel law of vectors, we know the resultant vector R is under root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Now theta is the angle between the vectors. Now these two vectors are in same direction. Theta 0, a square plus b square plus 2ab cos 0, cos 0 1. So it is a square plus b square plus 2ab. The resultant magnitude is simply a magnitude plus b magnitude. So the resultant electric field is E1 plus E2. So therefore substituting the resultant electric field due to these two charges, field due to the first charge 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1, 4q1 by d square, 4q1 by d square plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, it is 4q2 by d square. So therefore the resultant electric field, taking all the common things out, so it's 4 by 4 pi epsilon naught d square common, 4 and 4 pi epsilon naught d square common, it's q1 plus q2. So this is the resultant electric field due to these two unlike charges at the midpoint between them. Two unlike charges at the midpoint between them, the resultant electric field strength is 4 by 4 pi epsilon naught d square q1 plus q2. This is the magnitude. Now what is the direction? The direction is in the direction of the resultant direction of the resultant electric field is given by the individual things. Now according to parallel law of vectors, if two vectors are in same direction is same, like vectors, the resultant vector also will be in the direction of the same individual vectors. So E1 and E2 are in same direction. So the resultant electric field also in this direction only. There was a previous entrance question. If two like vectors, the resultant vector of two like vectors A bar and B bar, the resultant is R bar, then A bar, B bar, R bar are dash. They are like vectors, parallel vectors. All the three will be in the same direction. So the resultant electric field strength, the direction of the resultant electric field strength will be same as the direction of E1 or E2 in this case. So the resultant field is like this. Now, if suppose these charges are identical, same magnitude is same. Of course, unlike, but magnitude same. So if in this one, if I imagine Q1 and Q2 both are equal, Q1 is equal to Q2 is equal to Q. If two charges of same magnitude but unlike charges QQ are placed separated by distance d, then the resultant electric field strength would be 4 by 4 pi epsilon naught d square. Q1 is Q and Q2 is also Q. So this is 2Q. So the answer is 8Q by 4 pi epsilon naught d square. A very beautiful question, right? A previous entrance question. Usually people get confused. Two charges, identical, same magnitude, two charges, unlike charges are separated by distance d. What is the resultant electric field at the midpoint? He will be asking the question. And the options are given such that the first option will be 0. People get tempted that like charges, same magnitude but unlike charges. So same magnitude at the midpoint, same magnitude is same, distance is same. You get tempted to put the answer as 0. But both are of different magnitude. sorry, different nature. Magnitude is same, nature is different. Plus q minus q. Then the resultant electric field is 8q by 4 pi epsilon naught d square. Very beautiful question. Had these two been like charges, right? It is plus q and this is also plus q. Then this point would be, the resultant field will be 0. The point where the resultant electric field strength is 0, it is called null point. Had these two been same magnitude and same nature, like charges of same magnitude, then this would be a null point. But here we have considered they are unlike charges. They are unlike. So the resultant electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 8q by d square. A very beautiful question, right? You need to remember this. Thank you. Right?